guess you really got to be careful when you talk about countries as being aspects of stupidity there, because on one end, like Belarus might display reprehensible behavior, and then later on, in another aspect, right, they're they're doing something opposite, and it's like they all. That's why I say it's fraternal war, and it's like the fourth dimension, or it's Sandy Hook on a bigger scale. If it almost ends, and sort of the same way that when you try to stabilize a market, once you get it to balance out, and the market, the the whales or the manipulators, they say no, it's not finished going down. You're trying to stabilize it, and then they'll drop it and see. Hopefully now, it's called uh, distribution. I know it's a funny sounding. Like, why are you talking about that? Like, it's in a distribution mode where you lose faith in it and might want to abandon, right? Forget about it. And then they'll slowly come along and start acquiring it back up. There's something valuable that's there. That's why they don't want anybody there. Yeah. And you can see the design, even if I can't tell you. I mean, when they discovered that subterranean pyramid in the Crimea, they jumped on top of that real quick. And it's always seemed like something that starts, it's like, oh, there's something they wanted to study in Samaria, and all of a sudden everybody there, like something that, and then whatever it is they find, it would be in the Vatican, like underground in the Vatican. It's a fourth dimension at Sandy Hook. I'm not demeaning or belittling anybody's, because the way that we talk about it perpetuates it until we refine our expression. So we're not laughing because, like, the opponent, the bully got blown up. They're just they're showing you where people have accomplished or sacrificed, accolade, bravery, or whatever like that. That's how you end it. Skip the fourth dimension. Talk about the losses on both sides, and don't pick a side. Don't pick a side, because even though you could say, well, there shouldn't be bullying, and they shouldn't have made that extra move or whatever like that, we should at least know the background on why this situation has been created. You don't have to like the outcome to know what's futile and what is actually contributing to that situation. And then it's going to look weird with sending people over into a fraternal war when we can't be interested in anything but tearing down. Because and then who do you think will, like, okay, let's say when they finally figure out how to have peace, they'll double cross the the whoever's over there. Um, I don't want to say occupied. It's like what capacity that they are there to do. Like, because most of, like, even Biden wants to do some good and probably didn't want to leave Afghanistan the way that he left. But then should get off the pot, and then at some point in time he wanted to continue with the money laundering and shit. And then they want they like they want to promote Islam. That's why they want to promote Islam, because you are a fall guy. You become a fall guy for them. You know what I mean? So they'll, like, we'll get tricked into getting some kind of energy from, or happy or something, like a little bit of, because like a bunch of high tech equipment arrived in Ukraine for them to use or something like that. Like, you can't know if that was a good thing for them to get that, or if they're not escalating or what. How do people already just know that because it's freedom fighters that we need to give them our shit? If you're just legitimizing the precedent for anybody who wants to get together and become a freedom fighter, and it's like GoFundMe. And you can't say that I'm pro Russian because I could see Russia screwing up in so many different ways more than even when they're successful, like when or like Trump or something. Even when he's successful, he's still a vaccines, like he's still gonna stick a knife in your back anyways. They're all gonna still stick a knife in your back. They're like so like the way they outsource certain standards and practices like conscription and shit like that. Whereas, like you could say that it is Putin, but his presence is not that. It's plausible deniability, but it's more like, or over there it's different. Like they have a different, in a lot of ways, it's different. It's more collective. It's more collectivized. Like the way the Air Force is like ground support and shit. Uh, they okay, so if the whales, if things start to stabilize, and the whales are like, no, you ain't gonna have peace, right there, right? It could be that the end of the conflict in Ukraine, or it simmers way down, and that's gonna shift something else. I'm trying to think what, because they like to fucking do a gas attack somewhere. If that's one possibility, but that might be getting old. I mean, that should be getting old. But I mean, maybe not, because there's a lot of people that just are ready to get sold that dream, and so they're gonna. And see if they antagonize Putin in some other theater. He could be like, well, I'm gonna have to make a move on the Baltics, Estonia and Latvia and Lithuania, and he'll take them easily, not like Ukraine. See, it's just like the stress is just shift somewhere else. It's like my back will move to somewhere else. Israel will start funking with um, Iran over somewhere, Syria. So it'll heat up Syria, and mind you, I think this came before that. It was supposed to be a fucking lockdownerism and mask mandates and vaccine, and since that's not going well, that's why I think that this shit is cracking off like that. And they're what's it called? Trying to trying to bring Finland into what's it called? Trying to make missile bases places and like trying to plus Putin also just wants Ukraine to be dependent militarily. So it's like everybody's asking too much, and then there's just certain areas where it's not a good place to be, like somewhere with straight borders, right? Trying to think is China's having a new COVID scare, like not from the like a new COVID mandates and shit. Like they're just it's like how like that shit is just irritating. Like why are you doing this shit right now? The fuck is wrong? So it's like whoever you think is aligned with who, they're ready to stab each other in the back just to disappoint you, just to disappoint everybody. Just so everybody would be like confused. That's all.